This video is subscriber requested. In our daily lives we make decisions every day. Most of them minor, some major, but few decisions we make are of critical importance for survival. Very few of us make the decision on who lives and who dies. Who do we bring to safety and who do we leave behind? We have been spared all of that because of the rich and prosperous society that we currently live in. However, during a zombie outbreak or a full-blown apocalypse, all of that changes. This is a situation where almost all of your decisions are of life and death importance. So do you have what it takes to make the hard choices, and will your decisions be the right ones? Let's find out. In this video, I present a scenario. It has its own challenges and its own flaws. Life in the zombie apocalypse is not going to be perfect or easy, so neither are decisions to be made. You'll get to see one outcome for the scenario. Is it the same choices you would have made, or would you have done it different? Let me know in the comments below. Day 3 of the zombie apocalypse, Mike is picking up a late night snack at a convenience store and sees a zombie attacking a homeless man in an alley. The next morning he calls his zombie survival group to let them know about the attack. They agree to meet at Dan's house in a few days. Day 6 of the zombie apocalypse. Jason, Liz, Mike and Karen arrive at Dan's home. They dispatch the 2 zombies that are in the front yard, neither of which are Dan and his girlfriend Heather. After going through the entire house, Mike lets the rest know that most of the supplies are gone. It looks like Dan and Heather have taken off on their own. There was no note from Dan. The 4 of them decide to wait for the rest of the group. Day 9. Mike and his group see the majority of your survival group coming up the road on foot. One of the group uses a pistol to shoot a zombie. The noise rings loud, attracting all of the zombies in the area to give chase. The bulk of your group's 6 others run from the zombies, leaving the area. Mike and his 3 companions do not know if the others survived the chase or even if they'll be back. Mike decides for the group that it would be safer to stay inside Dan's house instead of looting his neighbors' houses for food and water. There is no point in taking unnecessary risks. He explains out of the 12 members of his group, there are only 4 left. He doubts the other 6 survived the zombie chase. Day 12, the zombies that gave chase return to the area in smaller numbers, but still much more than what 4 people can fight. Jason lets the group know they are close to running out of food and water. They need to make a decision on what to do next. Liz agrees, asking what their options are. They can't stay there forever. Mike suggests returning to the city. There are still a lot of supplies and food there. If they can secure an apartment building, they can grow food on the roof and on the balconies. Karen shakes her head and asks if he's insane. Trying to survive there is not something they should even think about. They would never make it back there to begin with. Jason looks around at the group. We need to look at all of our options. We're not going to be able to survive alone in this house. Staying here is a death sentence, but so is trying to make it back to the city. Liz looks at Jason and asks, what about the countryside? We could try to find a farm or something. Mike scoffs and says, and do what? Become farmers? None of us here have a clue how to grow anything. How do you expect to learn how to farm in the middle of all this? Karen says it's worth a shot. It's better than sitting here waiting to die. Mike says, all right, we leave at first light. We'll take whatever supplies from here that we can carry and head for the countryside. Liz looks at Jason and asks, what about the others? They still might be trying to find a way back here, and we don't know what happened to Dan or Heather. Jason sighs and says we can't help them now. We have to think about our own survival. We don't know if Dan and Heather are still even alive. As for the rest of the group, I think if they were alive, they would have come back by now. The group falls silent, thinking of the gravity of their situation. On day 13, the group leaves the house by the back door, avoiding most of the zombies in the street to make their way to the countryside. All of them are quiet, packs on their backs. All of them are excited as well. The chance to survive. Each one of them is picturing in their minds the harvest of food that awaits them. All of them except Liz. She is secretly wondering if they're doing the right thing. It is almost noon when Liz falls and pretends to sprain her ankle. Limping badly, she tells the others to go on. She will follow as best as she can. Mike agrees, stating that if they run into zombies, Liz would get them all killed because she cannot run. They all give her hugs and head off. Liz trails behind slowly, finally dropping out of their line of sight and heads back to the house. She arrives back late that evening. Climbing a tree, she sees most of the remaining zombies heading out searching for food. Enters the house the next morning and promptly falls to sleep. Day 14. Dan and Heather arrive back home looking tired but okay. Liz explains what happened with the four of them, including how she faked an injury to come back. She lets them know the rest of the group may still be alive, but they were driven off by zombies. Dan explains to her that Mike always wanted to be the group leader, but didn't have what it takes. He'll probably get the others killed. Dan and Liz agreed to raid the other homes in the area for food and water now that most of the zombies are gone from the area. During the looting, Dan explains that he and Heather decided, as soon as Mike called with the news of the zombie attack, to transport most of their food and supplies to his farm with the underground bunker. Their truck broke down on the way back, which is why they were late. However, traveling to the bunker will be easy as he knows where most of the neighbors kept their spare keys. On day 16, they have their vehicles well stocked from the houses in the area. They set out to their farm that awaits them. By day 20, they're all settled down in their new place. Everyone has their own room and is aware of both entrances and exits to the underground bunker. They begin their new lives in the zombie apocalypse. Including the people they picked up along the way, there are now 25 of them. Day 22. Mike, Karen, and Jason reach a farm and are met by an armed man at the gate. They are told they only have room for one, just Karen, and in order for her to get in, she has to agree to have at least 2 kids with someone of their choosing from within the farm. Despite Mike and Jason's misgivings and protests, she agrees in order to be let into safety. On day 24, she is introduced to the guys she will have kids with. The 2 males are former high school students, aged 16 and 17. Reluctantly, she agrees because she knows there is always the road. As it turns out, the entire group is a football team and coach who were there doing a team building exercise. Each day she is used by one of the boys or the coach. She is never allowed out of her room except to cook and clean, and she is always under armed guard. Day 30. Dan and Heather have their group well established and are in the process of clearing out the nearest town, house by house, of zombies and supplies. It's a long process considering travel to and from is on foot in order to save gas for emergencies. Day 35. Dan's group returns with jerry can after jerry can of gas, and it is stored in the barn and in the garage off the house. Chopped wood for cooking is piled in a wood pile between the barn and the house. Day 50. Mike and Jason are now proficient in killing zombies with swords and knives. They have reached a group that agrees to take them in so long as they continue to kill zombies and to keep gathering supplies and working with the rest of them. They agree, of course. Day 53. Liz is taken to going out scouting more and more to salvage supplies. During one of her trips out, a huge thunder and lightning storm delays her return. She too has become quite proficient at killing zombies as well. When she returns to her group 2 days later, she finds the house and barn and garage burnt to the ground. The coals from the fire are still red hot. By the time they cool down 2 days later, she finds the hatches to the underground bunker welded shut by the heat. Anyone in there has no way out. By day 90, only 3 months after the initial outbreak, Liz finally reaches a military base full of soldiers and civilians. Things are very organized and well defended as they've taken over an old historical fort. Day 94. Karen's group is overrun by zombies because they didn't have much in the way of walled defenses preventing zombies from entering the farm. Everyone is killed. Her last thoughts are of the guy she had fired for harassment because he asked her out on a date. She wonders if he would have protected her from being used this way and being eaten by zombies. Day 95. Mike and Jason's group is overrun by zombies as well. Mike survives to make his way on foot to wherever he will end up. Little does he know that he is traveling the same route as Liz did and will eventually meet up with her if he keeps traveling in the same direction. Day 100. All the zombies collapse from rotting, making it very easy to kill them. Not many animals are left and very few people. Day 200. Mike arrives at Liz's group at the historical fort. When he sees Liz again, they both hug and cry. They recount the tales of what happened to them in their groups and agree they were very fortunate. They eventually marry and have children together. The work of survival is hard, but they are happy. Gone are the pressures and worries of the old world. Now is the time to prosper through hard work and perseverance. So would you have made the same choices as Mike and Liz? Do you think you would have been as lucky? Leave a comment and subscribe so you'll never miss one of my videos if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.